Holocron History, Star Wars Canon versus Legends, where we take a deep dive into the Star Wars universe such as characters, creatures, stories, and so much more. Hosted by Ben of Temeria and Kadojo.
Welcome back, adepts, to another episode of Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends. I am one of your hosts, Brandon, or also known as Ben of Temeria, and always with me is my good friend, Kadojo.
Hello there.
And today, we are bringing you a massive land vehicle in the Star Wars universe. And if you played the 2018 Star Wars Battlefront 2, you might know this vehicle pretty well, because it is a pretty prominent control point on the Kashyyyk map. Pretty sure, yeah, it's Kashyyyk.
Yep.
And that is the HAVw A6 Juggernaut, or also known as the A6 Juggernaut, or the clone turbo tank, which is an upgraded version of the A5 Juggernaut. So, yeah, the A5 one you don't really see. The A6, though, we see it. It's a pretty beefy boy.
Chunky.
It's a big chunky boy. A lot of if you wanted a vehicle in Star Wars that had tires, this would be the only one really with tires.
Honestly, after looking at it, it should have been a mobile artillery piece that kind of opens up in the back and it extends out like a self-propelled artillery piece.
Yes, that would be cool.
Should have been that.
So, first off, we're going into Legends material, then we'll go into the canon, which there's little differences, but so the A6 Juggernaut model was a larger than its predecessor. It measured 30.4 meters in height and 49 meters in length. So, for everybody who is, not on the metric system, let me get that info for you.
So long live the Imperial system.
Right. So that is 99 feet.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's very, very tall. And 49.4 meters is, here, let me get that. It's 162 feet long. So it is it's long. It's
how long is a football field?
100 yards.
Well, in feet.
So 100 yards. 1 yard is what, 3 feet?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Or no, it's 100 yards, right?
360 feet from end zone to end zone.
360 feet. Okay. So what is that? Quarter of the football field?
Yeah, about a quarter of the football field.
Quarter of the football field? All right, yeah. It's pretty
For
long.
reference, yeah.
So with it being, so its interior space was greatly increased to allow up to 300 troopers and equipment. So 300 troopers and equipment.
Yeah,
that's a lot. A complement of close support craft such as speeder bikes and light air speeders, or a mix of both. A combination of 12 crew members were required to pilot and control the massive vehicle, although this was an automation package that a requirement could be reduced to just 2 pilots.
Now, if I remember correctly, on the control point in Battlefront 2, it was a double-decker bus.
Yes.
It had 2 levels to it.
Yes.
I wonder if some Imperial went, now let's take that, put a head on it, and stick it up on some legs.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that. I mean, AT-ATs weren't that big.
Yeah, but how do you go from an ATT to AT-AT like that? But then you look at the Juggernaut, it's like, they could have taken that design and just put it on legs and made it a little bit smaller.
That's fair. So with thick, thermally superconducting armor capable of absorbing energy, fire, and dispersing heat over a wide area, and a heavier load, the A6 Juggernaut could achieve only 160 kilometers per hour, and the turning issues of the A5 model were magnified with the A6. The slowness required for negotiating turns encouraged the A6 used to open terrain rather than urban battlefields, which, makes sense.
Yeah.
Can't use it in a city, that's for sure. Weapon systems were also upgraded to include a heavy laser cannon turret, a rapid repeating laser cannon, two medium anti-personnel laser cannons, two twin anti-personnel blaster cannons, two turreted projectile launchers, a loadable and variable yield consecutive grenades for close support or missiles added to anti-armor firepower. Missile range was 30 kilometers. Against an unshielded target, a Juggernaut could deliver a heat of a nuclear bomb into a small area.
Say hello to my little friend.
Pretty much. Like, this is why it's called a Juggernaut. It was a tank, like a legit tank.
Yeah.
And then for a small pod above the vehicle's front, a spotter kept lookout for enemy forces. Though they were a large view of area, he could be easily target for hostile troops. This observation mast could be retracted when not in use. So,
I mean, to be fair, by sounds of it, the Juggernaut was mostly used in open plains. So
yeah.
why would you need to have observation posts?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, I have no answers for that. I have no answers for that. But hey, it could be as devastating as a nuke. So, it could evaporate the air itself if it wanted to.
I would have loved to see this thing go up against a Hellfire?
A Hellfire droid?
Oh,
Or missile
Hellfire
or
droid.
whatever.
It
Yeah.
was in the Attack of the Clones,
Mhm.
the
Hellfire
two-wheeled
droid.
one.
Yeah.
It would have been fun to see those two go at each other.
That would be interesting. That is true. So, a little bit of the history and legends, which there is not a lot. The A6 model saw its heaviest use of service in the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars due to the flawed direct delivery system maintained by Kuwait Drive Yards. During the conflict, some A6 Juggernauts also fell into the hands of the CIS. Boom,
I
boom,
gotta say, Quad Drive Yards
boom.
doesn't have a very good security team.
They don't
Seems
have
like a
a
lot of
good
their stuff
They don't
gets.
have a good record at all.
No, I mean they can produce ships, but they can't keep them.
No.
You know, it gets stolen. Stuff gets stolen. It's like, who's in charge of security?
What security?
Yeah.
Like, that's where it's coming down to. What security do they have? So the HAVw A6 Juggernauts were used fairly extensively in the Battle of Kashyyyk alongside the ATAPs, where they went up against the enemy NR-N99 tank droids and the DSD-1 dwarf spider droids. So mainly on Kashyyyk, that's why we don't really see them. Mainly on Kashyyyk.
Now, in a deleted scene that was unfinished, they kind of developed it a little bit, but left it unfinished. Oh, what was his name? Two Jedi were actually killed in these tanks. At least one of them was. The guy with the yellow stripe across his nose, who's also in Phantom Menace. Voss.
Vinland
Voss?
Quinlan Voss. Yeah, but they
he was
retconned
actually
that because,
yeah.
He has a whole other thing.
Yeah, he was actually at the Battle of Kashyyyk in the deleted scene in one of the tanks, and the tanks fired on the other one to kill him.
Oh, ouch!
From what I can remember.
Ouch! That's no bueno. That's not good. No good at all.
No.
So, after the Clone Wars, the Imperial Army developed sleeker and more versatile combat vehicles. The various Juggernaut models were gradually phased out, and during the Galactic Civil War, they primarily served on battlefronts in the Outer Rim. Some fell into the hands of the Rebel Alliance. According to Imperial-turned-Rebel General Crix Madlin, the Medine, sorry about that. The HAVw A6 Juggernauts tended to break down. It appears that the HAVt B5 Juggernaut served as its successor, though its purpose was different. The A6s were deployed in the Battle of Hoth. By 13 ABY, they were one of the number of Clone Wars era Galactic Republic vehicles being used by the restored Empire faction of the Imperial Remnant. Wow.
Mhm.
So the Juggernauts lived, they had a good life. They went all the way up to 13 ABY.
A lot of
That's impressive. It
Clone War
means
tech
survived a long way because it's better than
yeah.
every other thing they'd made since in the
Yeah.
Empire days. Oh, whoa. Who would have thought that?
I didn't know they were deployed at the Battle of the Hoth.
Yeah, I think it might have been during like the books or the comics. Obviously, we don't see it in the film.
Yeah.
So, and then later generation AT-ATs would borrow certain design elements from the Juggernauts. There you go. There's your AT-AT, push in right there.
I didn't even read up to that part.
Yep, there's some AT-ATs,
Yeah.
In the little bit behind the scenes, the Juggernaut's design entered into the expanded universe via the Joe Johnston sketches of an unused heavy assault vehicle intended for the Empire Strikes Back. It and its roles in the film was replaced by the AT-AT.
So it was originally meant for that. Okay, it makes more sense though.
Right. And that and what you said earlier about how it kind of like more resembles the AT-AT than an AT-TE. That's probably where it comes into. There was the concept art, the concept designs in Empire.
Yeah.
So, when chosen to appear in Revenge of the Sith, the realization of its scale and weapon systems greatly outstrip those imagined by the expanding universe, being roughly larger by a size factor of 2 or 8 times larger in volume. To accommodate this, the version that appears on screen was denoted as the A6 model, with the smaller EU model already denoted as the A5.
Like,
okay,
we went a little too big on this.
So this is the
big.
upgraded version of the one that you see in the EU.
And not at all a complete mistake on our part.
No, right? I mean, you have so many creators and like doing Star Wars stuff during this time. Like they obviously back in this day we didn't have instant message.
No.
So it was much harder to, correspond details with other creators.
Oh yeah. I was watching a movie and they were talking about a fax machine. It says it can transmit an entire page in 14 minutes.
Oh boy. And now we have email, which does it in like 2 seconds. Oh my god. So, and then the clone turbo tank name possibly arose because at the time of the release of the prequels, Toy Biz owned the rights to produce toys named Juggernaut, as they had the Marvel license. Though Hasbro now has the rights to this name, the 2009 toy line was named Clone Turbo Tank. Lego has made 3 models of a Juggernaut, all called Clone Turbo Tank. In the first Clone Turbo Tank Lego set, 7261, released in 2005, is an A6 Juggernaut model as seen in the Revenge of the Sith during the Battle of Kashyyyk. The second set, 8098, released in August of 2010, is a Juggernaut model with specifications similar to that of an A5 Juggernaut as seen in the Clone Wars series during the Battle of Felucia. And the third set, 75151, released in May of 2016, is based on the A6 Juggernaut from the Revenge of the Sith during the Battle of Kashyyyk, similar to the first model. So,
what does Marvel license? What does Marvel license have anything to do with Juggernaut?
Juggernaut the character.
I mean, you can have other stuff named Juggernaut.
Yeah, but with Marvel and things back in the day were not as coherent as now. So
That's just weird. Anyway,
it's a name thing. It's called
sorry.
copyright law. Copyright law is very, dreadful.
Yeah.
It's dreadful.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. But with that being said, let's take our mid break, thank our patrons, and we'll be right back.
This summer, say I do
I am marrying a stranger.
like never before.
Am I crazy?
It's a whole new Married at First Sight on Peacock.
Thank God I woke up in love.
With new experts,
My name is Dr. Lisa.
My name's Paul Brunson.
more couples,
This could be the start of a very successful marriage.
and more surprises.
Or maybe not.
Everything is just not enough.
You're a little bit crazy.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I want my fairy tale ending.
Married at First Sight, now streaming. New episodes Thursdays, only on Peacock.
What if I told you you only have 12 hours to legally have sex?
To finding true love, or just like a good guy.
From the director of Easy A and Anyone But You.
This whole thing is nuts.
There's nothing traditional about this night.
On August 7th, the clock starts on the summer's biggest rom-com.
I'm Owen.
Allie.
What about you and me?
Monica Barbaro, Callum Turner.
I've been told I'm a 7.
By who? Your mom?
Nah, she thinks I'm a 10.
One night only. Rated R. Only in theaters August 7th.
All right, welcome to the mid break of the show. We're talking about everything podcast, and it has nothing to do with the lore of Holocron, history, Star Wars. That, I almost said a completely different podcast, like I normally do. And here we want to thank all of our amazing patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. And if you want to support the show yourself, you can go to patreon.com/holocronhistories, where you can get ad-free episodes, or even join us once a month on the show itself. You can also leave us nice Spotify comments and reviews on Apple and Spotify. Leave 5-star review with some words. Read out loud next time on the show, which we don't have any Spotify comments or reviews this week, but hey, that's all good. And then you can also find us in a few different Discord servers, the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, as well as my own Discord server, the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, where you can find this show and all the other shows that I host, which are the Final Fantasy Lorecast, the Gundam Lorecast, the Witcher Lorecast, and the Wizarding World Lorecast. So go check those out. All great stuff. Go to Robots Radio. Bunch of plethora of shows. So check that stuff out. And yeah, I have nothing else to add for the mid-break. Do you have anything, Dojo?
I just find it funny you had to take a second there and think about all the podcasts you
All
had
the
to
podcasts that I do. Yeah, because I do way too many.
No, but I have started listening to the Heir of the Empire Thrawn book EU edition audio podcast.
Yeah.
Audiobook. And so far he is much darker than his Disney canon version.
Oh, I bet. I don't doubt that one bit. And for everybody who doesn't know, the movie that's going to wrap up the Mandalorian Mandoverse, or what people call it,
Mandoverse,
is called Heir to the Empire. So
yeah.
We'll see how that ties in with the canon, with that namesake. So we'll see. Oh, and other news. Take this as you will, happy or not. It depends on what kind of person you are. Kathleen Kennedy is officially retiring from Lucasfilm at the end of 2025. So, news. I'm not going to say much about this because you can take it as much as any fan would. If you're happy about that or not, we'll see. Not going to really share our opinions on here because it gets a little... That topic is always heated at some point. So there you go. But that being said, let's get into the canon of the A6 Juggernaut. Okay, so the A6 Juggernaut in canon is commonly known as the Juggernaut, or also, go and figure, the clone turbo tank, or simply the turbo tank, which was a heavily armed and armored tin-wheeled tank manufactured by Kuwait Drive Yards. They were used in military transports by the Grand Army of the Republic during the Clone Wars. Following the Galactic Republic's transition into the Galactic Empire, the A6 was used by the Empire. The HAVw A6 Juggernaut was the successor of the Juggernaut A5 and itself succeeded by the ACVW A9 turbo tank. So...
So
Yes,
at least
the
what,
turbo
3
tank.
renditions there?
The A9 turbo tank replaced the A6.
Yep.
For the Empire, specifically. So, getting into its cannon characteristics, it is a massive, tin-wheeled, heavy assault vehicle manufactured by Kuwait Drive Yards for the use of the Galactic Republic's clone army. The HAVw A6 Juggernaut was used as both a troop carrier and a main battle tank. The Juggernaut was twice the size, with 5 times the weight of the Republic's all-terrain Tactical Enforcer, or the ATTE, which was our last episode, and was one of the largest ground vehicles built by Kuwait Drive Yards, measuring to 49.4 meters in length. By the way, if you haven't noticed, Kuwait Drive Yards literally makes everything for the Republic at this point.
Yeah, it's got so many subsidiaries.
Yeah,
to do all that.
It's its own empire.
It's its own empire.
And then they started working on stuff for the empire themselves. So I guess it works. It had a boxy hold covered in sloping thermal supercoating armor that could disperse heat, both the heat and energy of incoming fire over a broad area rather than ablating or reflecting damage. A powerful high-output reactor powered the tank's complex all-wheel drive system and could deliver a power of each wheel as needed for a maximum speed of 160 kilometers per hour. Each wheel was independently mounted and suspended when added a layer of complexity to the already complicated drive system, but allowed for a surprising amount of articulation.
And yet you can still feel every bump in the road.
Yeah.
With all that suspension.
Yeah, like each wheel is like added on separately and it moves independently. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Like this vehicle is not like, cars that we have in our world. It's completely made differently. This is one of the very few vehicles you actually see wheels on in Star Wars.
Oh yeah. I think it's the only vehicle you see wheels on.
Outside
of like a cart.
You have the turbo tank from the Empire, and like you have some other things here and there, but very rarely you see tires.
Yeah.
So the Juggernaut's interior was surprisingly spacious and could carry up to a company of 300 fully equipped clone troopers and individual jump seats on 2 decks. The forward station of the hull contained the vehicle's command deck, with positions for the pilot, co-pilot, vehicle commander, navigator, engineer, comms operators, and 2 forward gunners. Directly alt of the command deck was a small trauma bay staffed with it by a medic or medical droid for treatment to wounded troopers.
So this seems like also a forward outpost
command base
as well. Yeah, command base.
Mm-hmm.
Could operate like
essentially,
that as well.
Yeah, essentially, pretty much. So an extendable observation pod could be raised to the mast over the command deck to give a spotter an unparalleled view of the battlefield. A small bunker mounted off to the troop compartment housed a backup command deck and the rest of the gunnery stations. Again, like, it's weird that they need a mast. Why couldn't they use like a submarine like vision thing? They could just use one of those without having to expose someone to danger by like sniper fire.
And you think they would have like drones or something to help with that?
Yeah, the thing is, they didn't rely on droids as much as like the CIS, obviously.
Yeah, but you would think for scouting and forward observation they would.
You would think, but they didn't
let's send up a guy up a pole.
Pretty much,
where he's out, completely exposed.
They don't like droids. Clones and droids don't get along well unless it's an astromech.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the only time. So, Juggernauts also brought the destructive potential of an entire armored regiment to the battlefield. A6 models were armed with a broad array of 2 anti-personnel laser cannons, a dorsal turret-mounted rapid repeating rotating laser cannon, manned by a clone gunner, 2 retractable hull-mounted anti-personnel flex ordnance launchers, 2 twin forward-mounted anti-personnel light blaster cannons, and 1 dorsal turret-mounted heavy laser cannon. The armament granted the vehicle commander a bit of tactical flexibility. According to the Kuwait Drive Yards, the A6 could deliver an attack to a small area that was an unshielded target would inflict heat damage equivalent alone to a small tactical nuclear device. Again, it's the firepower of a nuke.
Yep. Although I still think they should have made a version where it was like artillery capable.
Right, and just have it in the back and just constantly just use artillery shells and... Yeah, that'd be cool. Just one giant mortar cannon that on wheels.
Boom.
That'd be cool. And then with its history, we do have the aid mission to Langston. So the HAVw A6 Juggernaut saw the use of the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars against the Confederacy of Independent Systems. In 22 BBY, after the resource-rich world of Langston suffered a Confederate attack during the early weeks of the war, Republic forces operated under the 302nd Battalion were deployed to Langston for an aid mission. During the Juggernaut was filled with medical supplies and dispatched to Langston's largest continent as part of the convoy. Well, that makes sense. I mean, just filling the whole thing with aid. Makes sense.
Yeah, imagine it'd be good for supply running from, the acclimators to...
It's a heavily armored tank, so it's good luck trying to destroy it. And then it has so much space in it, it could easily hold supplies that for whatever you need.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's a win-win, I guess. So filled up with more medical supplies than troopers, the Juggernaut made its way to the continent where Jedi General Anakin Skywalker ordered a clone trooper to bring the first 10 supply crates to a neighborhood in Sector N7AI. So obviously this is in, Clone Wars. Further ordered by the General to meet up with Captain Raptor in Fong Tim Square to split up the rest of the crates once it was done. The trooper then made their way back to the Juggernaut to complete Skywalker's orders. Familiar with the damage sent out to do a wheel to vehicles due to the pass of the desert planet Tatooine, and Skywalker quickly added to watch out for the world's sand lest it get into the vehicle's gears. Once the Juggernaut and the rest of the convoy began its journey, Skywalker took the moment to try and get the sand out of his cybernetic hand.
Sand is coarse and rough and gets everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame Anakin for hating sand. Like I would hate sand too. Like I hate sand. Period. As on top of it, I don't like going to the beach. I don't like sand. So, fully understand that. We do have the first battle of Felucia. So the one HAVw A6 Juggernaut was deployed on the first battle of Felucia. During the battle, Jedi Commander Ahsoka Tano's Juggernaut was accompanied by 2 ATTEs on a jungle patrol. Under the leadership of Padawan Tano, the tanks pushed forward against a large separatist force, and she believed that the droids were in full retreat, when in actuality they were regrouping to overwhelm Republic forces. Because she's not... well trained. No.
Hot-headed.
Yeah, much like someone else. Maybe her master. So LAATI gunships arrived from the 104th Battalion to evacuate Republic forces on Felucia, and after evacuating Jedi Generals Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi and their forces, they headed to Tano's position. Dun, 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 because, they always have to save the day.
Yep.
Tano refused to retreat, believing that they were winning over the Separatist forces. Skywalker ordered the gunships to land in front of the Juggernaut and Republic forces in order to evacuate the clone troopers and convince Tano to retreat from the engagement. After Tano and her troopers evacuated and were airborne, Tano looked on to see her Juggernaut explode in a fiery destruction by the combined forces of the Separatist droids and vehicles which they had knocked out other nearby Republic vehicles. So if she stayed any longer, she would have been dead.
Oh, yeah. But in her defense, that Juggernaut took a heck of a beating,
Oh, yeah,
though.
It took a heck of a beating, absolutely.
I mean, it took them a while to fully blow it up.
Right. And then continued deployment, we have the HAVw A6 Juggernaut again. So action on Fallujah during another battle against the Separatist forces. During the attack, at least 2 Juggernauts accompanied by ATTE walkers as they bombarded a Separatist outpost. Juggernauts were also used in the Republic capital of Coruscant and could be seen deployed at the Republic Center of Military Operations. Interesting. Okay.
Trying to remember that. There weren't that many episodes featuring
Coruscant
headquarters.
Oh, headquarters, yeah. I was like, there's a bunch in Coruscant. What are you talking about? No, the Republic, yeah, the Center of Military Operations. There's I think only a couple episodes. And then several.
I think it has mostly to do with the Zelo Beast. I think.
Maybe. I can't remember.
Can't remember. Anyway.
And then several HAVw A6 Juggernauts were utilized extensively in the Battle of Kashyyyk, alongside the ATAPs, ATRTs, and infantry support platforms, where they were faced against Separatist N99 tank droids and DSD-1 dwarf spider droids. So, Revenge of the Sith. This is where this is all ends.
Yeah.
And by the end of the war, the successor model to the HAVw A6, the HCV WA9 turbo tank, had been introduced and saw the use of the conflict. Despite the continued deployment of the HAVw A6, due to its success and effectiveness, the HAVw A6 continued to utilize by the Galactic Empire, successor to the Galactic Republic. The regime also made use of the HCVW A9. So I use both.
I do in Rogue One. That's the movie, I think. Rogue One. They use them as prisoner transports for some reason.
Yep.
And it's only like a handful of them. And then Bad Batch. You actually see like 2 or 3 of them in Bad Batch. They take over one, get into a fight with another one, and then wreck the one they hijack. I think right off a cliff.
I still need to finish Bad Batch.
Shame.
Yeah, I know. I'm still in season 1.
I mean, come on, man. You only have a full-time job, 5 podcasts, you lazy bum.
Oh, and
you have plenty of time.
On top of, getting some game time in. I'm a busy person. And then last but not least, we do have some behind the scenes for the canon. So the HAVw A6 Juggernaut first appeared in Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, released in 2005. The Juggernaut originated from a concept of a tin-wheeled tank used by the Empire during the Battle of Hoth by Joe Johnson for Star Wars Episode 5 Empire Strikes Back, before the AT-AT walkers were chosen over tanks. George Lucas later revisited this design when seeking to bridge the designs of the original and prequel trilogies. Unlike the original concept, the HAVw A6 had a much larger and was better armored.
Yeah. So okay.
So better.
If you use the turbo tanks in Empire Strike Backs rolling across the field, the snow speeders would have been useless.
Yes.
They would have been absolutely useless. You would have gotten more troops to the outposts. Probably even more, since they housed 300, we said?
Yeah, 300 troops. Yep.
Yeah, so...
The thing is, they probably cut it out because something with design when they were making the film. And obviously they wanted something to have the heroes take down. They can't really take down a tin-wheel tank.
Yeah, but tactically speaking, the turbo tank would have been better.
Oh, no, you're absolutely correct. If the Empire utilized a turbo tank rather than the AT-ATs, the Rebellion would have been destroyed. Completely. There is no, if, ands, or buts. They would have been decimated because they would there would have been no way to counteract the tanks.
Nope.
So, but yeah, that's all we have on the Juggernaut, or the clone turbo tank, if you want to call it that. So, fun stuff. Any final thoughts or anything on the Juggernaut turbo tank?
Literally any vehicle is better than the AT-AT.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, everything in the Clone Wars was better than the Empire.
And I will never stop hating the AT-AT.
Well, that's fair. I'm not a huge fan of the AT-AT. Shoot, I'd rather have Republic, like fighters, starfighters, rather than whatever the Empire. Like TIE fighters are terrible.
Oh,
like
completely.
Why? Like
the TIE Defender was good.
Is that the one? That was the one with shields, though.
Yeah, it had shields and a hyperdrive of its own.
That's the only reason why it was good. All the other ones were crappy because they didn't have shields or a hyperdrive. So one good shot could easily destroy the entire ship.
Yeah, TIE Defender would have wiped out the Rebel Alliance easily.
I mean, that's why most people in the fandom call TIE fighters floating caskets.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to die. Period. There is no ifs and or buts. You will die.
Yep.
So, anyway, that's all we got on this week's episode. So, thank you everybody for listening to Holocron Histories, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, the Ben and Friends podcasting Discord, where you can share your thoughts, experiences, and love for the Star Wars lore. And don't forget, for the Republic!